The existence of geckos dates back at least 300 million years. Scientists have found geckos preserved in amber that dates back to the Cretaceous period, and those specimens look remarkably like the gentle little lizards you'll find in so many parts of the world today. There are approximately 1,500 gecko species, and they vary in size from the dwarf gecko, which measures just 3/4 of an inch long and weighs less than 1,000th of a kilogram, to the new Caledonian giant gecko, which can grow to 0.4 meter and tips the scales at 0.2 kilogram. Speaking of Pictus geckos, the Pictus gecko is a tropical and nocturnal reptile. The island of Madagascar is home to this attractive creature. Unsurprisingly, it's otherwise known as the Madagascar gecko. Fun facts. The tensile suction produced by hundreds of thousands of microscopic hairs on these reptiles' toes allows them to smoothly climb nearly any vertical surface. They clean their eyes by licking them. When they lose their tails to predators, they can regenerate new tails. Appearance. These reptiles are small lizards with stubby bodies, large heads, tails, and except for members of the legless lizards family. The color majority are gray or brown, the better to blend in with the rocks, sand, and dirt around them and so to escape the notice of predators. However, the leopard gecko has bright yellow skin covered with brown spots. Some day geckos are an electric blue. The crested gecko is orange or red, while the take gecko has bright orange spots. Magic skin and tail. Pictus geckos store fat in their tails, so they'll have access to calories when food sources are scarce. Their tails have evolved to fall off easily when the animal is pursued by predators. When this happens, the animal will regenerate its tail. Their tails actually have their own nerve control center that allows the tail to move and lunge independently for up to half an hour after its separation from the body. These reptiles have approximately 100 teeth. Their teeth don't grind down because they replace their teeth every 3 to 4 months. Their skin is covered with millions of infinitesimal, hair-like spines that are very soft to the touch. These spines trap water droplets that keep dust and other air contaminants away from the gecko's skin. The microscopic hairs that cover their toes are called setae. These hairs work differently than the hair that covers the animal's body. Setae are actually tiny enough to activate molecular van der Waals forces that enable it to easily climb vertical surfaces, like walls, and even to move comfortably on ceilings. Although a few species are active during the day, they are primarily nocturnal animals, and the design of their eyes shows it. Few species have translucent membranes covering their eyes instead of eyelids. They lick their eyeballs to keep them clean. The leopard gecko is unique here in having movable eyelids. Their pupils are vertical, and their eyes can be up to 350 times as sensitive to light as human eyes. These lizards also have a sophisticated auditory system. They're capable of hearing sounds pitched at high frequencies that other reptiles cannot hear. Behavior. Though Pictus geckos are not particularly social animals, they have a sophisticated vocal communication system when compared with other lizards. They have true vocal cords. They bark and chirp to define their territory, to attract mates, and to elude predators. They also hiss and emit high-pitched squeaks. The new Caledonian gecko has such a distinctive growl that native tribes of those islands dubbed it the devil in the trees. The leaf-tailed gecko of Madagascar emits a distress call that many liken to a child's scream. They also use their tails to communicate with other geckos. Slow, wiggling movements indicate awareness of another animal's presence, while more vigorous shakes are defensive maneuvers designed to distract or evade predators. Another characteristic of their behavior is head shaking. This movement is associated with feeding, and it helps the animal pass food from its throat to its stomach. They climb most aggressively during the night. Swift runners, able to scamper on the water's surface. Habitat, often found on trees along the edges of forests. They also inhabit local huts and banana trees in the east coast of Madagascar because it has a humid and warm climate. The immense amount of morphological variation found in different species reflects the ways that they have evolved to fit into their specific habitats. The Northland tree species, for example, owes its bright green color to the New Zealand forests and shrublands it inhabits. The leopard gecko, with its yellowish skin and black spots, blends in well with the semi-desert terrain of its native Pakistan, India, and Afghanistan. Red-spotted take species are well concealed in the lowland or submontane rainforests of Southeast Asia, while black-spotted take species have adapted to the rockier regions of Vietnam and China. Diet. These reptiles are primarily insectivores, but they also eat worms, fruit, and flower nectar. Leaf-tailed geckos like to snack on land snails. Large species, such as the New Caledonian gecko, have even been known to eat small birds and rodents. What eats Pictus geckos? Predators include snakes, birds, spiders, and species introduced by humans such as dogs and cats. In the tropical rainforests of northern South America, these animals are stalked by the much smaller Goliath tarantula, which uses its venom to paralyze the gecko and liquefy its flesh. Raptor birds such as hawks and owls typically live in climates too cold for geckos, but when temperatures drop below freezing and these birds travel south, these reptiles become a favorite prey. Pictus geckos aren't in danger of extinction, but a few species are on the International Union for Conservation of Nature's Red List. The crested gecko of New Caledonia, for example, was thought to be extinct for many years after its initial sighting in 1866, until it was rediscovered in 1994. Two other New Caledonian species, Bovia goronsis and Bovia ornata, are on the red list because mining activities are shrinking their habitats, reproduction, and life cycle. Males attract females by making distinct mating sounds and by vibrating his tail. While mating, the male grasps the skin at the back of the female's neck in his jaws and tucks his tail beneath her abdomen, bringing the animal's cloacal openings in close proximity so that fertilization can occur. Some species, however, such as the mourning gecko found in Central and South America, can reproduce without fertilization. They lay eggs. Gestation periods vary widely in length. The Pictus gecko may lay her eggs 16 to 22 days after mating, while a harlequin gecko's pregnancy can last 3 to 4 years. 43 species endemic to New Zealand give birth to live young. The typical egg clutch size is 2, and the eggs are laid on the ground beneath rocks and tree bark. Their eggs can take between 35 and 90 days to hatch. Females show no interest in eggs or hatchlings once they've laid their eggs. Though many hatchlings have body markings that are different from those of adults, they move, behave, and respond to their environments exactly like adults. In captivity, these reptiles have relatively long lifespans. Pictus geckos, for example, typically live between 15 and 20 years. In the wild, they live for approximately 5 years if they aren't preyed upon. A study in New Zealand found wild geckos that were believed to be at least 36 years old, which is substantially past the average lifespan of a gecko. Population. Pictus geckos are native to eastern Madagascar, but populations have been introduced to oceanic islands surrounding Madagascar, as well as to Hawaii and the Florida Keys. These lizards were likely first brought in as pets, but they are now found in large numbers in practically every place in the world where the average temperature is 22 degrees Celsius or larger. It would be impossible to estimate the number of them currently on the planet. That's all for now, folks. See you next time.